Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the show at Rise Up Show with me, your host, the Queen Bee, Dani. How are you feeling? As we chat this morning to the devilishly handsome, the fabulously wonderful, the incredibly knowledgeable Mr. Fidel Bohill, the modern man. Good morning. Jodie Sol, good morning. Fab Naredi, good morning. Elise Woodbine, good morning. The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon, good morning, sir.
Shut up, for fuck's sake. Jesus.
The fantastic Lizzie Jackson Barrett, good morning. Josephine Sandra, everybody, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you are doing well. My name is Dani Wallace and I am the Queen Bee. Audacious statement, I'm quite aware. If you are new to the show, welcome to the Show Up, Rise Up show. This show actually started, oh my goodness, almost a year ago. We started in March last year, right at the beginning of lockdown version 1.0, as a way of getting my backside out of bed in the morning. And that's continued on and grown into this, where I interview amazing and phenomenal people out in business and life and media, and bring them to you in sure and certain hope they provide a little bit of inspiration and motivation in answer to the dire news that we wake up to every single morning, especially at the moment. So I hope you are all well. This is the shit weather board behind me. I am not a meteorologist, but feel free, if you're joining us from wherever you are in the world, to tell us what the weather's doing where you are. It's a very British thing to do, isn't it? What's the weather doing? Well, it's a bit shit in the case of this one. This one. It's a bit shit. Forgive my nails. We are in lockdown and I don't have a nail tech, and my eyebrows now need Jesus again. So I hope you are all well. Who's first past the post this morning? Tracy Tillman, hello, coming in from Colwyn Bay, North Wales. I hope you are well. Tracy, thank you for joining us this morning. Susan, Kylie, Anna, hello, good morning. Welcome to the show. Are you feeling Febby, Sassy? Happy February. My God, we are already 1 month down of 12. For 2021, already 1 month in, which is absolutely insane. So it's been a bit of a somber weekend in IATQB HQ. It has been quite a sad weekend. I'll be very honest with you that we had a family bereavement over the weekend. My incredible sister, lots of you know Gemma, my incredible sister lost her father-in-law to COVID over the weekend, and really brought very, very close to home just how dangerous things can be. It's really made me think over the course of the weekend about some of the things that I've got planned and how I'm going to manage that. So it was very, very sad, and I'm sending all the love in the world to the Roberts family this morning. Indeed, any of you who are feeling a little bit sad, or feeling like COVID is a bit close to home, for me, it was a very stark wake-up call to just how very, very close this whole situation is. So if any of you are feeling it out there, I'm sending you all the love and hugs in the world. It is a real thing, and it's been absolutely devastated to be on the periphery of. It's not a direct bereavement of mine, but certainly, you know, seeing my nieces and having my nieces to deal with bereavement for the first time, and for my sister's, you know, mum-in-law to be navigating this, and certainly my brother-in-law, the incredible Dave Roberts, having to navigate this when, you know, maybe just a few weeks ago they wouldn't think that was the case. Mick was 62, and an absolute top chap, a kind man, and who was loved by lots and lots of people. So I just wanted to pay tribute to the fabulous Mick Roberts this morning, who passed away on Saturday due to COVID. Sorry, not sorry for being the bearer of sad news. It is worthwhile remembering, for those of us that feel very unaffected by this, that there is a real situation going on out there. And for all frustrated we are, for all sad we are, for all tired we are, this is a man who shielded for a number of months, and then on the first few weeks back at work, he contracted the virus. So please do stay safe. Please do look after each other as best you can. It's certainly made me have a think about how I can help keep you safe within my events and what have you. And I'll be talking to you more about that in the coming weeks. So yeah, it isn't the perkiest start, but I did want to pay tribute to the wonderful Mick Roberts this morning. How are you doing? How are we all doing? We're entering into week 4, aren't we, of homeschooling? I've been really lucky that I've had Mum as part of IATQB. She works in-house for us and has been house managing whilst I've been spinning all the business plates. I've had my mum holding things together for us, who's just a phenomenal human being, and she's been holding the homeschool together. She's having the day off today. She's feeling a bit under the weather, bless her. So sending lots of love to my mum. How are you lot feeling? Are we all good? Very sad news. Sent her hugs to Gemma Roberts. Thank you. She will appreciate it. Good morning, Karen Dawkins. Lovely to see you this morning. Oh, you've got my book coming today. I don't know who Facebook user is, but do tell us if you're in the IATQB Hive, which is my free community. There are lots of really exciting things coming up in there in the coming weeks. Please do keep your eyes peeled. I do say that quite often. There are things that are bubbling underneath that I cannot wait to share with you. I dropped over the weekend the very exciting fact that I have now opened up the Be More Overnight Success Program incubator for 5 people. So my diary is open to work with 5 people in an incubator. So it's like a mini mastermind where we'll be working together to work on your 6-month, your 1 year, your 18-month strategy, your overnight success strategy. So as we all know, overnight successes don't happen overnight. They happen with a plan. It looked like I entered into the arena with nothing and then built up within 18 months a multiple 6-figure business. There was a plan behind that, and I am sharing all of my inside secrets in an incubator of support and awesomeness. For anybody that wants to know more about that, please do get into my DMs. These spaces are going to fill up really quick. I dropped it on Saturday, and already I have had a number of calls with people who are just phenomenal, who really, want to be working with me directly. It is the most cost-effective way of working with me in really close quarters in that kind of environment. Also, at the end of this month, for all of you, I felt like this was the right time, seeing as though that some of you were mentioning my book. Got my book here. I Am the Queen Bee, How I Overcame Self-Sabotage to Fly Anyway, and How You Can Too. Now, since November, I have been running a program called Move Bee, Get Out the Way, specifically looking at overcoming self-sabotage, getting out of your own way, and then creating a strategy based on this new understanding of yourself. It has been going incredibly, and all of the people in there have had so many fantastic life and business wins so far. We're going to be opening the doors at the end of February, so I'm going to be telling you when you can sign up. We're going to do a challenge as well, all about that, so you can get a little taste of what it's like inside. So if you do want to know more, again, make sure you're on my wait list. So if to get on the wait list, you go to imthequeenbee.co.uk and make sure you pop your email address in there, and you'll get all the information first. And then, of course, I will share it with you in here. That's all the updates from me this morning. I am now going to welcome my guest onto the show. Super excited to have this wonderful person on the show this morning. Please welcome to the show, Sophia Moseley. Good morning.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I am just like bubbling up.
She's all fizzy backstage like this. She was like, "God, get me on screen. Stop talking, Dani."
Not necessarily that. I don't know. I'm just so I feel like a toddler. You know, when the toddlers go into the park, I'm just like, oh.
I love it. And hopefully this morning we will have a play and have a chat and get to know each other a little better, because it's the first time we've had a proper conversation, isn't it?
It sure is. Yes. Yeah.
These are some of my favorite shows, because I get to find out, I get to make new friends every single day. And you lot watching out at home do too. So Sophia, tell us a little bit more about what it is that you do.
Well, I do a few things, but mainly I'm a photographer, hence the pictures.
Love it.
And it started off as a hobby. like many things do.
Mm.
But I actually can trace it back to when I was a child, because I used to sit and go through my grandma's chest of old, like really old portraits and be fascinated by them. And I would make up stories in my head about these people. I was a strange little child.
I was a strange little child as well. Like you were in good company, Sophia.
Yeah, and I'm still like that. That's what my kids say. They say, "Your mum, you're so weird. You're so crazy." And I am. So
We are the weirdos. It's fine.
But I've embraced it now.
Sister.
Yeah, instead of trying to be something I believed other people wanted me to be.
Right.
No, I am that strange little kid that comes from a council estate that has a very big backstory. And yeah, I am that. And it's bloody fabulous. So
I feel like we've just become best friends. I feel like our stories are already parallel. I'm here for this. So, Sophia, tell us a bit more about this story. Tell us about how you come to do what you do. How you came to embrace the weirdo. I'm with you.
Well, how it's been a bit of a process. Started probably 2017 after a full hysterectomy and a really bad time. And it was a bit of awakening. It sounds a bit cliche, doesn't it? But it was a bit of a, what are you doing?
It is a bit, that's a huge life event, isn't it? So, I've spoken to a lot of people who have had hysterectomies and I've been like kind of tossed around in the flotsam and jetsam of their thoughts for a little while before and after. Sometimes it's even made people question kind of their identity. Like once you've had those, organs removed, how do you define yourself as a woman? There's all sorts of things that sit underneath that. How were you through that?
Well, I went into it. My thought process was, I'm not going to be a woman afterwards.
Right.
I was devastated. I had to have it for medical reasons. It had to happen. But I was so fearful of it. And it went wrong. So I had to have another operation. I was really ill. Right. However, I came out of it realizing it's one of the best things that has happened to me. Right. Because it doesn't define me at all. I've had my beautiful children. I can still do all the things I want to do, and it was a turning point for me. Yeah. So it ultimately was a really good point in my life. It's been a slow process to get to where I am now. I've been lucky to meet some fantastic women along the way that have just pushed me, kicked me, pulled me, brought myself out. They've really, really helped. One woman being Cassandra Farron, an author who I was privileged to write a chapter in her book last year.
Oh, amazing.
A kid who couldn't read or spell properly never thought she would do. So, and then that led on to me writing my own book last year during lockdown.
Amazing. Well, do you know what? I did the same. Like wrote a book during lockdown. We've brought out a collaboration book during what an incredible process it is writing a book, though, Sophia. How did you find that? What's your book about? Tell us.
It's about my childhood, or part of my childhood. My mum was an alcoholic, an addict, had a very colourful childhood. So it was about that. It was kind of like a journal. I found it scary. Right. Therapeutic. Yeah. Found it forced me to look at myself, and that's what really got me to this point. Yeah. I was forced to look at those experiences and think, bloody hell, you're still here. And how I would praise a friend or my children, I started to praise myself. And I think it's really important, because we're taught not to be, being proud is wrong, or, those kind of things. I just started to think, wow, You're not
bloody
half.
hell, you've done all right there. And we don't do it. Like we talk, I mean, we talk in a funny way, I guess, in this community about chuffy badges, and that as entrepreneurs, particularly as entrepreneurs, well, or parents, or just people living life, we very rarely get recognition for the things that we do that are sometimes big things, sometimes small things, but we don't get that recognition, and we don't give it to ourselves. And it's wrong. Like we laugh at, it's a Manchester thing, I think, or it's certainly a Northwest thing, where say for example, excuse me, say for example, you said to you're at school and you say to a teacher, I've done my homework, and the rest of the class goes, oh, what do you want, a chuffy badge? Well, yeah, I do. Yeah. I do want a pat on the back. Yes, sometimes you do the things that are basic, like getting out of bed in the morning and brushing your teeth. But depending on what you're going through at the time, they are massive deals for some people. Getting out of bed and brushing your teeth is sometimes, when I was at my lowest, the only thing that I could do. And to recognize yourself, say, actually, do you know what? You survived that whole period. Bloody hell, have a pat on your back. Be proud of yourself. Say, you know, I'm out here slaying dragons, even if slaying dragons today is brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
It's insane that we don't recognize ourselves. And huge kudos to you for starting to see that in yourself and loving on yourself for it.
Yeah, and I know it's not just a woman thing. It's the same with men as well. But
it is,
I photograph mainly women, so I come into contact with mainly women. It's so widespread that we don't know ourselves, for one, appreciate ourselves, appreciate our backstory, believe in ourselves. And I think if I'd been taught self-worth at school, or believing in myself, believing in those crazy little dreams I had, my life would be so much different. Of course, I wouldn't change some things like my children, but I would make some different decisions.
Right.
That would save me some pain.
Right.
It's so important. And, you know, I've waited till I'm 50. I'm 50 this year to embrace myself. And I know that's true of a lot of women.
Right.
You know? And I make sure my two girls are full of self-worth. They know what they deserve.
Right. And this is a recurring theme throughout a lot of the interviews that I do, and a lot of the conversations that I have day on day, is there is this power that it used to be that women, as they got older, would shrink. The expectation would be that, you know, you get married, you have your kids, you know, you see your kids up till they go to, you know, school, college, university, whatever. And then there's this kind of empty nest of not very much afterwards, where, you know, we're just meant to be knitting in a corner from 45, 50. Well, no, thank you. Actually, the women like yourself, Sophia, like so many women, hundreds of women, and, you know, people of mixed genders, people that are gender fluid, are so much more wise. They're so much less tolerant of bullshit. They know themselves so much. Like, did you know yourself in your 20s?
No. What I showed was completely different to what I felt inside, because people have said, to me, you seem so confident. No, I didn't. I seemed like I didn't like the silence in the room. I didn't like anyone else feeling awkward, and that carried right on. And that's something I learned as a child, to read the room, read the people. He's pissed off, right, we better act this way. He's this, he's or she's that. That wasn't me. Now I quite happily walk in a room, and if someone's pissed off, that's their deal. If I'm happy, I'm happy, you know. But it's taken this long, which is a sad in one way, but obviously bloody glorious in another way.
Right, because you could just walk in the room. I mean, you could still read the room. You still kind of know where the energy's at, and just be totally strong in where you're in yourself. And I think that this is a misconception. We talk about this in the book that I wrote, and in my program Move Be, we talk about confidence versus extroversion. There is a real difference and a real misconception around being an extrovert and being confident. And the two are not mutually exclusive. Just because you are seen to be and similarly for the introverts that are out there, just because you're seen to be introvert does not mean that you're not confident, and that there's no value in that confidence. And I think as soon as we get our heads around this and own ourselves, that yes, you could be extrovert and be wobbly. Yes, you can be introvert and be supremely confident, but confidence is that quiet knowing and acceptance of yourself.
Yes.
That's why confidence is.
Yeah, and it's all of yourself, because it's the bad, it's the mistakes you've made, it's the successes, it's all of it being, yeah, that is me. I've made a million mistakes. A few I'd definitely change, but I'm going to continue making mistakes.
Right.
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's knowing yourself and being happy with yourself. And I'm lucky that I was kind of pushed and pulled to start writing, and realised I completely love it, which in turn has helped me when I photograph women, because you can, lots of women have all these perceived flaws, they have them, that they're not real. You don't see them, and it's lovely. And I get really connected with them and close to them, and it's a lovely experience to see someone going from hating being in front of the camera, which I did. I never would have done this.
I'm so proud that you have. I'm so grateful that you have.
Yeah, but I just look at things different now. This is just a chat. It's lovely. I love to talk, and I love women. So there we go.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So Sophia, tell us about what brought you to photography, because you're a writer, you're an author, you've done all that very, very recently. What about photography? Tell us more about that.
Well, it's like I said, I loved it when I was a kid and kind of forgotten about it. I probably would have gone to college if I didn't have to get a job when I left school. I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't read very well. My spelling was horrendous. I was very arty. However, I needed to leave school and get a job. So that all went to the wayside. But I loved, I loved anything creative. Yeah. And of course, my kids came along. You take a million pictures. Well, you used to, didn't you, on the camera?
Right. I still do. And I love capturing moments. I think that, there was always a sneaky photographer inside of me, that looked at things like composition, that looked at things like that. And said I was never kind of a point and press. I was always like on the angle, and then I'll get the editing out. And so I totally feel you on that.
Yeah. So, and it just went from there. I mean, I started selling sort of landscapes and stuff, here and there, nothing big. And people kept asking me to do their portraits, and I kept saying no. Right. Because I thought that I wasn't a people person. I thought because of the situation and relationship I happened to be in at the time. Right. I kept saying no. And then I started taking pictures of my little one, I learning, did quite a few courses, and I realised I love it, and I love people, and I love particularly women. I do photograph men as well, and that's lovely, but particularly women, because there's just that connection, a bond. You chat, it gets quite deep. You talk about some deep stuff, and I realised I love it. I'm passionate about it, and I'm fairly good. I'm good at it. So it just rolled, but I did. I was very stubborn for a while about doing it, but that's me. I am stubborn. So yeah, it took me a little while to get into it, and then of course lockdown hit, everything stopped. Instead of doing nothing, I decided to write. So yeah, that's kind of how it all went.
Amazing. So it's totally cool if you don't want to talk about this. I don't know if you know. So I'm an advocate of survivors of toxic relationships and domestic abuse. You said about being in a relationship at the time where you didn't feel like you were actually who you were. You didn't feel like you were a people person because of the situation that you were in. Obviously this is not a question to take you into the depths of that, but what was it that you felt? What was it that you were that made you feel like that?
Well, as you know, any relationship with someone that's an abuser or toxic, it's a drip situation, isn't it? You don't realise. Now this relationship came to an end last year in lockdown. So what you said about not being able to get out of bed and things like that, I understand that because I had a long period last year. Luckily, a lot of women around me helped me. But yeah, it was going back to your question, it was a drip, drip, drip. And I changed into something completely I wasn't. And I went back to the child I was, which was pleasing the addicts and people around me because I didn't want to rock the boat, because I didn't want, people to be upset, people to act in a certain way. I didn't want, where he was concerned, for it to end. I don't know why at the time.
It's the same. It's the fear of the unknown, and as well, it's the fear. What do I do after this situation? Then I think is one of the things. I mean, for me, it was obvious that I shouldn't have been in that relationship at all by any stretch. But the fear of the other side, or if you're supporting that person as well, what are they going to do? And it's almost out of care for them, and you don't know what they're going to do without you. And it's very messy. It's very complicated. It's very easy for people around you to go, "Well, just leave." Well,
yes, and I found at the end of that relationship, people say the craziest things. They don't mean to be mean. They don't even know what they're saying is affecting you. But things like, oh, I never guessed he was like that.
Yeah.
And for someone that has doubted themselves for nearly all my life, but in this relationship, 15 to 17 years, it makes you continue doubting yourself. But but if you haven't experienced something, then they don't know. It's not really their fault. But it's an amazing process, and I'm lucky that I had people around me that reached out, because I probably wouldn't have made it. Well, I know for sure I wouldn't have done, because it was hit rock bottom. So, and funny enough, that all happened when my book came out. It was It's
an interesting thing about when you do something like write a book, or when you do something where it's a very, not a lonely process, but it is a process that you go through on your own. It's like you said right at the beginning, it's like what's the word? It's like self-therapy almost. Exactly the same. About for anybody that's read it, I mean, I talk about the relationship I had with my dad. I talk about, the relationship I then went on to have with the men that were around me. I just need to block someone from I just need to block this guy. I don't know, he's offering some reading Prince, whatever his face is, but he can fuck off. Strange people knocking around on the internet this time of the morning. So hopefully that they're blocked now. What was I saying? I remember getting sort of about 6 chapters in and having to just take a break from it all, because as a speaker you don't use as many words, because you don't have to, because you've got your body language and you've got your tone. You can get people there quicker, and speaking's what I do, that's my job. So when I started to write, I needed more words to paint the picture, because you don't have the luxury of everything else around you when you're writing. So you have to give your situation words that you never maybe would have done. You've never had to articulate these situations in such a way. So when you start to do it, it's like you said, you suddenly go, oh, okay, so these were quite big. You kind of know that they were big things, but you're over them. But to write about them, you have to put yourself really there to write about them eloquently. And I'm totally with you on that, in that when you go through this, it is a very internal process as you externalize these experiences. But you learn something about yourself that you can't unlearn afterwards. And I think that maybe during that time, that's when you find that power. Where you go, actually, I have 100% survival rate here. I am, when I talk about dragon slayers, I'm a fucking dragon slayer. You can't go back then.
No, it definitely is. I mean, I've had therapy, normal therapy, or whatever you want to put on it throughout my life. Writing was the best. Writing, sitting on my own, even though it was hard, it was dark, and when I was done, I haven't picked up the whole book and reread it. I was done. I couldn't go there again. I didn't want to know anymore. I was done, dusted, dealt with it. It was, but it did its job. It really made me look at myself and it made me look at that situation I was in last year with a man I adored, with all his faults, but they weren't changing. So I needed to move. I couldn't do it. I was changing into something that I wasn't, and I didn't want to be. So yeah, came to a head, but that definitely helped. Writing definitely helped.
So when this is a term that is bandied around quite a lot about stepping into power. Like I talk to people about we call it a vocal business card, a way of introducing yourself. And lots of coaches say, I help women step into their power. What does that phrase mean for you?
Step into my power. It means, to me, it means really, really becoming myself, accepting myself, all of myself, and not being so concerned about all my faults, all my mistakes. And then, because, you know, if we make a mistake, we harp on about it, or it's in our mind, isn't it? Oh, we should do this, we should. But
like a week later at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's when your brain decides to let's relive that time when we really fucked up, shall we?
So I decided that the same amount of time I would spend on those millions of mistakes I've made, I'm going to spend on all the great things about myself. So that's what stepping into my power means. It means, I'm all these things. I'm the council kid. My mother was an addict. I'm the party girl. I'm the sad wife. I'm the photographer. I'm the writer. I'm the crazy woman. I'm the great friend. I'm all of those things. And that is great.
Oh man, honestly, it gives me goosebumps when you talk like that, because more of us should. Like, I don't hide from my past. I don't hopefully not disrespectful about even the men that I've been involved with, not disrespectful about them, and just tell my truth from where I'm coming from. And absolutely love on the fact that I have 100% survival rate. And, you know, you through your photography and working with particularly the women that you work with, help them show themselves in a way, you know, just as speaking or writing allows you to do that, allowing yourself to open up in front of the camera does that in another way as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I see myself now, and I love this. This makes me excited saying this. I see myself as a storyteller now, whether it's visually or writing. You know, I've been helping a few ladies with their bios and stuff like that. I'm so excited about that fact that I'm a storyteller, because, like I said, I was rubbish at school. If I can do it, anyone can do it. And watching a woman come in and be, I don't like my nose, I don't like this, and me thinking, wow, you've got gorgeous eyes, because that's what you see. When we look at another woman or a man, obviously, you look and think, wow, haven't they got lovely eyes or lovely hair or whatever? And seeing a woman go from this in front, because we all go small or we wear black. This is green, by the way, not black.
I see it.
We all go like this. To see someone go from that to this, and then look at their pictures and go, whoa.
Wow.
And really,
even me.
And really see what we see as photographers, because we see something completely different. It is true. Once you start taking pictures, doesn't matter what it's of, it could be flowers, monkeys, whatever, you start to see the world completely different. You really, really do.
Absolutely. And so tell us, Sophia, how what have you got coming up? What are you excited about? This is a really strange time, and I'm sure it's hit you in lots of different ways, as being in this lockdown, and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We just don't know when that's going to happen. What do the next weeks, months, the rest of the year look like for you?
Well, obviously, photography-wise, things are on hold because, because it is. We don't know what we're doing, do we? I can't even photograph my two absolutely beautiful daughters because they've had enough of it. They don't want
stop taking pictures of me, Mum.
Yeah. And the cats and dogs won't behave. So there you go. So I'm writing more. I have quite a few ideas. You know, anyone creative has a million ideas at one time.
I don't know anybody like that. My team will kill me if I give them another idea. Just wait, Dani. Just hang on. I have to have them in an ideas book and then sort them out in the pipeline.
Yeah, so I write because I have loads. So I'm writing more. I'm doing a few more courses, and I'm working for a divorce. So personal things are kind of more prevalent at the minute because we need to get them done and dusted so we can move on. But I'm hoping when we come out of lockdown to really go full force with my photography business, because I'm raring to go, and I'm so passionate about it that I'm like, come on. Even when I see women, I'm like, oh, I'd really like to photograph them. Shall I go up and ask them?
I love it. So, out of interest, what sort of photography? So I'm a personality brand, I guess is the best way to put it. And I often get photographs taken of me. I arrange shoots for lots of different things for the media and what have you. What sort of photographs would you expect from coming to book with you, Sophia?
Before lockdown, when I've been doing a lot of headshots, personal branding. Jessica, who you've had
her photos are fabulous.
Yeah, and she's lovely. We had such a laugh. We laughed so much. It's a wonder we got anything done. But there you go. So yeah, I'm doing a lot more of that, and I'm probably going to head more that way. Right. I love photographing children as well, but my passion is women because I get a lot more out of that than money. I get a lot. It's helped me discover who I am. So
you see a change. You get to facilitate a change, and that change isn't just in that day. That changes every time that person looks at that photograph and realizes who they actually are. And I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to facilitate, and a really strong purpose in your business. And congratulations to you for finding that, because lots of people out there are kind of, especially now, are kind of being a bit tossed around. Going, what is it that I want to do? Where is it that I want to go? So for you to have found that and be able to facilitate that change, it's just a beautiful gift to give. Cara Dawkins is just asking, are you doing anything like virtual photo shoots?
I'm not. I have seen them, and it's a great idea for whoever enjoys doing that. For me,
pull it off, it's hard.
Yeah, and I might be wrong, but I just don't think the standard would be the same. I might be completely wrong because I haven't looked into it, but for me, it's being in the same room as the person. And I like to move the hair. I like to, it's that. Yeah. I just love that. So no,
I feel the same about singing. I've been asked to do loads and loads of virtual gigs. I've done a couple for you guys because my queen bees and my people, my community, and I want to give back. But I've turned down lots and lots of online gigs over the course of the last 12 months because it just isn't this. I can't get the quality right. So I'm here, and I've got my mixing desk here, and I've got my microphone here, and I've been doing some bits and pieces, and I just can never get the quality as I would really like to. So yeah, I'm absolutely with you on that. Doing things virtually is hard work, really, really hard work. So yeah, I'm with you, sis. So we just talked about what you're excited about. How do we find out how to get hold of you?
Well, on Facebook, I'm Shutterhut Photography. Instagram, Shutterhut. I can put all the links in the chat, can't I?
In the chat, in the comments, absolutely, of course, can please.
All that. I'm on LinkedIn as well, but mainly Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to look at some of my work, it's Shutterhut Photography is the website. Pretty easy. And if you're interested in my book, this is it. There we go.
I love it. Escaping Bohemia, lovely, amazing. Where can we get hold of that?
Amazon. And this I just have to give a shout out to she was 12 then. My 12-year-old daughter took this picture of me. I was teaching her. I'm so proud of that she took that picture. I have to tell everyone.
I love it. I think that's amazing. So congratulations. And congratulations on the book and for all of the things that you're going to do. Sophia, it's been a joy speaking to you this morning.
Thank you. I really loved it.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you. And we'll speak to you really soon. That is Sophia Moseley, everyone of Shutter Hut. Make sure you go and follow her across the social. Shutter Hut. You can find her on Instagram, on the LinkedIn, and we'll pop the links in the comments as well. Right, you lovely lot. That is it until tomorrow, where we are joined by the phenomenal, you don't want to miss this, one of my dearest friends, Jenna Rigby, is going to be joining us tomorrow about her business Glam Fit, about being a mum of 5 during lockdown, and also her latest program that's coming out, which talks about mind fitness. So please do join us tomorrow at 9:30 for more of the same. If any of you want to know more about the Overnight Success Incubator that I am kicking off in March, get into my DMs. There are only 5 spaces available. I'm having conversations throughout the week with those of you that have shown interest already. So know those spaces are going to go really quick. So if you do want to jump on or you want to find out more about it, please do get into my DMs, either at the Queen Bee Dani, if you're watching through on Instagram, or Dani Wallace over here on Facebook. Right, you lot. Have an incredible day. Go and rip it up this Monday. Go carry on the conversation in the IATQB Hive, which is my free community. You can go over there, tell us about your successes and your challenges. It's a great little network. We've got lots and lots and lots of fantastic people in there ready to help you succeed. And I will see you tomorrow in the morning, Tra.